Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with Powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'll be doing a two-player playthrough of the board game Alpha Clash Cosmic Conquest. Alright, I want to keep this video short and sweet for you guys, focus on the gameplay and content of the game itself. So let's go ahead and jump right down to the table where we got everything set up ready to go. I'll show you and walk through how to play the game for you guys, and we'll do some battling. Alright guys, so we are down here at the table where we have everything set up for a two-player version of Alpha Clash Cosmic Conquest. So let's kind of set the scenario here just a little bit, show you who's battling who, and then jump right in. So we have team over here. This is going to be Team Clarity. Okay, that's going to be the name. We are going to have in this Team Clarity, we are obviously going to have the Contender Clarity here. She is from the planet Avalon, and you see her special ability right there. The Savior, she was the Sentinel. The Savior of the group is going to be Gearwin. Okay, she is going to be from planet Cogheim. Alrighty, and then the Destroyer of this team is going to be Iron Piston. So he is also from Cogheim as well. So this is team number one, or also Team Clarity. So I'll be referencing them. Okay, down here in the bottom right hand corner, we have Team Alpha Aster. Okay, and I will show you, of course, the leader of the group, Alpha Aster. Now you will notice he is on the Awakened side. I'll talk about that in just a second. But we have Alpha Aster. All right, the Savior of the group is going to be Valen Solarial. All right, Valen Solarial. She is from Eldralore. All right, now Alpha Aster was from the planet of Zenith Prime, right over here. And then last but not least, we have Genesis. Okay, Genesis. And he is also on his Awakened side. You'll notice, again, he is from the planet Zenith Prime as well. So this will be team number two, or Alpha Acer. And realistically, I should probably switch this team and this team up, since majority of these teams are on Zenith Prime. And if I wanted to get crazy, I could start this team on Cogheim, since most of them are on Cogheim, which I might do. Because that would make things a little bit more interesting. Okay, so like I mentioned, prior to during the setup, after kind of this draft phase, you are going to select your heroes, right? Before you put your team on the board, you will have, in a kind of like turn order, the option to buy cards from over here in the market, okay, or awaken your champion. So everybody's going to start with 10 XP. So I have the Gambit point boards of team number one over here, the Gambit point boards of team number two right over here. And so you can choose to, with this XP, awaken your heroes or your contenders, or buy cards from the road, like I said. So what I'm going to show you today is kind of two different strategies. Team number one over here is going to be a card-based strategy, buying cards from the market and playing them. And the second team over here is going to be a Contender Awakened based strategy and awakening their contenders. So the Alpha Aster team over here has spent 5 XP to awaken Genesis right here, unlocking these two abilities, and then they have also spent 5 XP awakening Alpha Aster as well. The Clarity team over here spent their 10 XP on a couple of different cards. So we have Ferocious Threat. All right, that was 3 XP. Lose a Gambit point to get 2 additional combat. They have Resilient Tactics, all right, for 2 XP. And they bought Shocking Revelation for 2 XP as well. And last but not least, they bought a weapon that is called Energy Blades. So that's what it says right there. So that's what Team Clarity did. That is what Team Alpha Aster did. Okay, we are going to play an abbreviated version of the game here with only 6 rounds. 6 rounds, okay? Just want to give you guys a nice view, want to give you guys a good enough playthrough, but also don't want to make this very lengthy as well, since I'm going to have to explain some of the moving pieces with the game here. We got all the other components and pieces kind of around the board, but I really just want to focus on the planets right here that are in row. Okay, guys, so I do believe that is everything else we need to do for the setup. We have our planet cards right here, and we are ready to rock. I will go over the different planets as we're playing throughout the game. So we are going to start by rolling a dice, actually, and let's see who actually goes first. So we will do Team Clarity right here. They are rolling an 11, and then we will have Team Alpha Aster will roll a 3. So the Team Clarity will get the first action. So you're always going to start off in what's called the recovery phase. So any champions with cooldowns, they would go ahead and reduce them by 1. Team Clarity has no champions with cooldowns right now. They will go ahead and gain 2 XP. All right, they got 2 XP here. And then if they have enough XP to awaken any champions, they can do that now, but they need 5, so they cannot. And then last thing, we need to resolve any abilities. So all 3 abilities of our champions here do not pertain to this recovery phase. I do believe they are all combat phase. We have Gearwin. Whenever Gearwin is engaged in combat, we have Iron Piston. If you have less than or equal unrivaled contenders, then the imposed engaged player, so that's combat as well. And then Clarity herself, whenever Clarity is engaged in combat. So all 3 of these pertain to combat. I know that's off screen where you guys cannot see that, but that's what we got there. Okay. So that is step number 1, the recovery phase. Step number 2, the armory phase. We may now use our XP to purchase any number of cards from the armory with 2 XP, or we can spend 2 XP to restock the armory here. So this player is actually, Team Clarity is actually going to choose not to spend any of their XP because the only thing they could buy would be this collective intelligence right here for 2 XP. This is 8 XP, 4 XP, 6 XP, 5 XP, and 2 XP right there. So they are going to go ahead and pass this phase. Now they will move on to the action phase here. So they have 2 possible actions they can take. Move their team of contenders from one planet to the next orthogonally, right? They can move to any other planet they control, or they can spend 2 XP to move to any other planet on the map here. All right. They can also engage in combat. So let's kind of look at the board here and see what we have available. So if you have the least gambit point amongst all players, so can't really do Zenith Prime yet. Earth, the final combat value had 4 or more matching symbols. So Earth might be something that they, well actually they're here. So Earth might be something. Control 2 or more weapons. They only have 1 weapon right now. Purchase Harmony cards totaling 7 XP. Haven't done that. Restore 2 or more, restore health to 2 or more contenders this turn. That looks, an opposing character loses 8 or more health this turn. All right, Mecha Julia, control 7 or more XP. Play a Eldrelord, play a combat card this turn, and reduce the health of an awakened contender you control by 5. All right, so we do have a, we actually do not have any combat cards right now. So really, the only potential planet we could conquer here is Earth. So probably the best course of action is to spend 2 XP, all right, to traverse to any planet. This does not count as an action. So we will go ahead and traverse right onto the same planet here as Team Alpha Aster. And the very first action they're going to take is engage in combat. So when you need to engage in combat, you choose one particular one champion of yours, and then you choose the champion of the other team, and y'all will fight in combat. So Team Clarity is going to bring the Iron Piston out, okay, into combat here, and then they want to select the Valen Solari, all right, Solario, all right, because that is not an awakened contender. So this is the battle that we have ensuing here, and let me zoom in just a little bit closer so you guys can get a better look at these 2 champions. All right, so what's going to happen is the attacker is going to roll 6 dice. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. The defender will roll 5 dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. and we're going to do some more steps after that. So let me go ahead and do the roll step first. So let's kind of see what we get here. All right, let me sort this out. Wow, that is a atrocious roll by the Iron Piston there. That's a roll for the defensive player. And we're going to roll, wow, see, yep, that was reversed. Okay, so we have 4 shields and 2 hits. We have 4 hits and a miss, okay? So now we have the opportunity to re-roll. So the attacking player may choose to pick any number of dice and re-roll again, which we will. And let's see what we get. All right, that's a much better roll, okay? That is a much better roll. The defensive player will have the opportunity to re-roll again, and I think they will, and roll all their dice. As much as we like hits, we want some, wow. Okay, that is, that's crazy. That is crazy. So that is the re-roll step there. So now we would go into the defender support action. So if the defender had any support action cards, so these are going to be cards with this particular symbol. If this wants to, there we go. That symbol right there, that is that support action. So if they had any cards with that particular action, they would be able to do that now. Remember, they are not focused on cards. They are focused on Awakened Champions. So they will have to pass this phase. We now move to the attacker. So the attacker now has the ability to play any support actions or combat action cards if we have them. So we do have 2 support action cards available to us that we could play. And we are thinking possibly about playing this Shocking Revelation. So roll 1 additional combat die and add the total to your final combat value. If your combat value has 3 or more single hits, we can gain 1 combat point. So I think we will go ahead and play this. So we're going to play this, put this in the discard. We will roll 1 additional combat dice and add it to our value. Let's see what we get. We get a double sword. All right. So that is that. Now you have the opportunity to play 1 more, and we could play this. So it says shields you rolled during this combat phase count as a shield and a double sword in your final combat value. Now this, we'd have to have 4 or more double swords in our combat value. We would only have 2. I think he's good for now, okay? So that is the remainder of the step 5, the action, combat, and support action. Now, when you guys are doing this particular step, this defensive support action step and the attacker's support / combat action step, you are only allowed to use any combination of either 2 cards, 2 contender of champion abilities, right? Or the combination of both. So 1 and 1, something like that, but you can only take 2. You may only use up to 2 of these particular cards or actions, all right? So we did 1 here, we did none there. All right, now we would resolve damage simultaneously. So let's go ahead and resolve the Iron Piston here. So we have 2 hits, a shield, and 4 swords, which is a single hit. Remember, we did play this Shocking Revelation card. So our combat value has 3 or more single hits. So we will generate 1 gambit point for doing that. So let's go ahead and generate 1 gambit point there. Okay, so we are hitting for 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 damage is coming over to the Valen Solari. So let's go ahead and adjust the appropriate health values right here, bringing her down to 12. In return, she is going to do 4, 5, 6, 7 damage back to him. He will block 1, so he will only take 6 damage. So this will bring him down to 14. All right. So that is the combat step. Okay. Now we have some gambit points that have been earned here. So let's take a look at this. So when you deal 5 or more damage to an opposing contender, okay, you will generate 1 gambit point. So he has hit her for 8. So we will go ahead and move that to 1 gambit point. And let's see what else we got. Collectively restore 6 or more. Defeat. We have not done anything else. All right, same thing for our team number 2 over here, Alpha Aster. They have dealt 5 or more damage to an opposing contender once during combat phase, so they will generate 1 gambit point because they have returned fire and hit this person for 6. Okay. Also, we actually should apply both of these ability here. I do apologize for that. So he said if you have less than or equal unrivaled contenders than the opposing engaged player, add 2 more damage to your final combat value. So we do have less unrivaled, no, we do have more actually, because they have 2 awakened. So this will not apply, okay, because he's got 2 awakened. Whenever she's engaged in combat and receives no damage, all right, she has received damage. So both of these, I was actually correct. Both of these would not apply in this particular case. Okay, so that is our combat that we have initiated right there. Let me zoom this back out, and there we go. Okay, we should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and move both these champions back to their respective spots and continue with the Team Clarity's turn, all right? So that was one action. That was the combat action. And what we will do is use this second action to move over to the planet Earth here, all right? We will now end our action phase and move into the conquest phase, okay? In the action phase, real quick, each engaged player will also receive 1 XP. All right, each engaged player here would also receive 1 XP for engaging in combat, okay? I do apologize, forgot that as well. So now in the conquest phase, I have the opportunity to conquer a planet, which we have met this condition of Earth, which says the final combat value had 4 or more matching symbols during a combat phase, and I did have 4 single hits, okay? We did have 4 single hits, so that is perfect for matching during this combat phase. We have successfully conquered the planet Earth. So when you successfully conquer a planet, you will gain the planet card here, giving you access to the ability. All right, so we now have the ability of Earth, and its passive ability is if our final combat value has 4 or more matching symbols, we may move to a planet of our choice after the combat phase. So I'll put that down here to indicate that we now have control of the planet. So we have conquered a planet, all right? This will generate us 2 more gambit points for conquering a planet. And whenever you conquer a planet, you also generate 1 XP as well. All right, so that was a good turn. We got 4 gambit points in 1 turn. And that will be the end of Team Clarity. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Team Zenith Prime here. All right, so starting off in this recovery phase, we will reduce all cooldowns, but all of our cooldowns should be at 0 right now. We have not used any abilities. We will go ahead and gain 2 XP here. All right. We will go ahead and we do not have any applicable abilities. All of our abilities on our contenders have to deal with engaged opponents. Okay, so now we will move to the armory phase. So they have the opportunity to buy something. They only have 3 XP. They don't want to mess with the cards right now. They want to try and do some return fire here on this wonderful, lovely planet that we call Earth. They want to try and overthrow Earth, right? Okay, so moving on to their action phase. I think what they might do is, look, they have a couple options here. If they have the least gambit points among players, they could conquer Zenith Prime, all right, which is very powerful, which you can overthrow planets by meeting the conquer criteria as well. So I think what they might do here is, I think what they will do is actually spend 2 XP. All right, we will spend 2 XP. Actually, you know what? They want to overthrow a planet because they are tired of they're tired of them taking Earth because they can actually come back and maybe get this Zenith Prime later. So they will spend one action to move into Earth, and they will spend the second action to initiate combat. Now they are coming right out the chute, and they are choosing their Contender. These cooldowns should be 0 here. They are choosing the Contender Genesis. All right, and they want to go ahead and take out this Iron Piston. All right, they are like, dude, that dude is weak. That dude is weak sauce. All right, let's go ahead and zoom this bad boy in, and let's take a look at some of this battles. All right, so we have selected our 2 contenders here. We need to go ahead and roll. So we need 3, 4, 5. We got our 6 dice for Mr. Genesis. We got our 5 dice for the Iron Piston. Let's go ahead and roll the attacker dice first, and let's see what we get. All right, so we got 2, 3, boom, boom, and boom. Okay, so Genesis's combat, I need to remember this. His ability is if an opponent activates or plays a support or combat action whenever Genesis is engaged in combat, the opposing engaged contender loses 1 health. Okay, that's very powerful. Let's see what the Iron Piston can hit with defense. All right, they rolled some good defense there. They rolled some good defense. Okay, so now we will have the opportunity right here with the first attacking player to choose to re-roll. And Genesis is Will. He's trying to deal a 14-hit combo. And he does get this and a shield. All right. I think the Iron Piston wants to roll some more shields. He's got a little trick up his sleeve here. And he rolls a miss and a blank. Womp, womp, womp. All right. So now we go to the defender first. So he has the opportunity to play a support card. All right. And he could play this where every shield will count as a double hit in the final combat value. But by doing so, he would lose 1 extra health. Okay. So he's got to do some math here. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. He would block 3. I don't think there's an opportunity for him to do that. So that could be a really good counter and make Genesis think twice about hitting him. So I think he will do that. He will spend, all right, this card right here. He doesn't have to spend XP. So any shield you roll during this combat phase counts as both a shield and double swords in the final combat value. All right, so he will have this card with him, and I'll actually throw it sideways. I should put it right there. He will have this card with him for this particular battle. Moving over to Genesis. So he has the opportunity to play more stuff here. So I think what he might do is add 1 double shield to your final combat value. Then each contender the defending player controls loses 1 damage after combat is resolved. Wow. That is pretty powerful. Let's go ahead and play that. He might just use both his abilities and see if he can get close to one-shotting this guy. So he will use both, and then he will use the first alpha as well. You know what? Go big or go home. All right. So he has used both of his abilities. So this will add a double. All right. So we are adding a double sword to the combat value. Then each contender the defending player controls loses 1 damage after combat damage is resolved. Okay. Then the next one, add another double sword to your final combat value. Then the opposing engaged contender loses 2 health for each planet that player controls. Woof. Okay. So we would now go ahead and do these simultaneously. All right. Let's go ahead and do the Iron Piston first, because maybe there's a possibility that Genesis is going to actually take out the Iron Piston. So we have every shield counts as a double, so that'd be 6, 7. So 7 is coming. He is going to block 1, okay? So 6 damage is what he's going to take, bringing him down to 14. All right, bringing him down to 14. And he is clear of all of his dice. All right. This would need to activate when he's engaged in combat. The opposing engaged contender loses 1 health. So he would have lost 1 Yep, he would have lost 1 for playing that card early on. These will not activate until combat damage is resolved. All right, then the opposing engaged contender loses 2 for each planet they control. First Alpha would technically activate first. So he does control 1 planet, so he would lose 1. Again, sorry guys, a lot of moving parts here with some of this stuff, and I know I might have played some stuff out of order, but just got to make sure I'm checking through everything before I resolve all of that stuff for this. Okay, now he's got 8, 9, 10, 11, all right? He is getting hit for 11, but he blocks 3 of it, okay? So he is only taking 8 damage. Whew! That is going to bring him down to 3. All right, that brings him down to 3, and he has already done his 14. Okay, this card would go into the discard pile right here. So now we need to do some gambit points. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and go over here. So he did deal 5 or more damage to an opposing contender. All right, he did deal 6, so that brings him up to 5. See if you guys can see that. 5. No, it's kind of hard to see a little bit. So that will bring him up to 5. Nothing else happens. Genesis now has also done 5 or more damage, so this will bring him up to 2. All right, that brings him up to 2 on the track, and he has not managed to defeat him as well. Then the defending player, each champion the defending player controls loses 1 after combat damage. So he goes down to 2, and then we need to adjust everybody else going down to 19 as well. So let me adjust everybody. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So that should be the resolution of that particular combat phase. Ooh, let's move everybody back to their designated positions here. All right, now we still have 1 more action. So I think what we are going to do is first, I don't know the specific turn order for this. I think what we would do is we did not have 4 or more matching symbols there, so this passive of Earth would not activate. I do believe after the combat phase, you would activate this passive and be able to move away if you had 4 or more matching symbols. Okay, so then the next thing is we will just move for our last action over to Zenith Prime. All right. We would now need to give 1 XP for each player for being engaged in combat. All right, I forgot to do that. I'm so excited about the combat, guys, that I keep forgetting to give this XP. Okay, then this player right here, we're going to conquer Zenith Prime. So we do have the least gambit points amongst players. This player has 5, and our player over here only has 2, okay? But this will net us 2 gambit points for doing that and an XP, all right? 2 gambit points and an XP for doing that, bringing us up to 4. And we also claim the Zenith Prime planet card, all right? You may overthrow planets by meeting the conquer criteria instead of the overthrow criteria, all right? That is the end of the Alpha Aster team's turn, which that is the end of 1 full round. So now we would drop this down to, if I can find the 5, there we go. We will drop this down to round number 5. All right, we will take it back up top with our team right here, Team Clarity. So in that recover phase, any champions with cooldowns, we would drop them by 1. We don't have any awakened champions at this particular moment. We would go ahead and gain 2 more XP. All right, so this puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 XP here. We do not have anything else that we can control, and they don't really want to awaken any champions at this particular moment. They want to maybe get some of these cards right here. All right. Wow, that's actually pretty good. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is in the armory phase, we can buy cards with XP. So we have 6. 5 is gain 2 additional actions this turn. Wow. Send a weapon the engaged opponent controls to the discard. That is pretty powerful. 5 XP. That's probably the good one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 XP, and we are going to claim this illusion card here to gain 2 additional actions this turn. Okay, 2 additional actions this turn, and a new card will come out, which is Healing Splash. All right, Healing Splash. All right, moving on to our action phase. So I think we will play this illusion, which is going to give us 2 additional actions. So we now have 4 actions available to us. We will also play Ferocious Threat. So lose 1 gambit point and get 2 additional combat dice until the start of our turn. All right. So we will need to lose 1 gambit point, and we get 2 additional dice for the remainder of our turn. Okay, we have 1 XP left over. So I think the first thing we'll do with action number 1, let's go ahead and move over to Zenith Prime. Action number 2, we will go ahead and initiate combat, and we are going to send Clarity. All right, we are going to send Clarity into battle, and we want to take out the Valorant Serial. That's who we want to fight again. All right. So, oh, I forgot to zoom everything back out. I was so excited with that particular motion there that I forgot. Okay, so we would normally get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, because of our Ferocious Threat card, we get 2 additional dice. And she would get 5. All right, so let's go ahead and have some fun. So this is action number 2. Wow, again, man, I am terrible at rolling with the, that was a single. I am terrible at rolling with our attack dice here. All right, they would roll. Woo, 3 misses. We got a sword and a sword, okay? So reroll step. So attacking player gets to choose the reroll, which we will. All right, that's solid enough for me. All right. And then they will choose to re-roll everything and see if she cannot take any damage. Boom, boom, and 3. Okay, so defensive person, they have nothing they can play. Offensive person has nothing they can play. So we would basically go straight into combat. So when Clarity is engaged in combat and loses 3 or more health, restore 2 health to another contender you control. That's actually very unfortunate. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 damage coming over to her. She would block 2. All right, she is blocking 2 damage. So she would only take 6, bringing her down to 6. All right, bringing her down to 6. All right, she is going to hit 3 in return. She blocks 1, so she just takes 2 damage, bringing her down to 17. Okay, that is all of that. All right, let me make sure we took no damage. She did take damage. She only took 2 damage. Okay, we would get 1 XP each for engaging in combat. And that is the end of this particular combat phase. All right, so that was the second action that was available to us. We did have 4 matching symbols. So we have the option to move to a planet of our choice, which I don't think we want to do right now. What we will do, though, is we will engage in combat again. So action number 3, and we're just going to run it back. The same thing here, Clarity and Valerie Solari. So again, we get 8 dice. All right, they only get, that is 5, right? 3, 4, 5. All right. Boom, wow, that's a, woo, that is a lot right there. All right, let's see what we got. Jeez. 1, 2, 3. All right, so offensive player first. You know what? I might just re-roll some of this and see what we get. All right, 2, and this, and this. Okay, so I think she's like, I pretty much will die. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can block something. That's a lot of damage in return. Let's see. She might be, see if we can block one, and she misses. All right. So let's go ahead and apply this damage. We will do Valerie Soler first. So we are going to go 2, 4, 6, 8 damage. 3 gets blocked. So 5 is coming down to her, moving to 12. All right, so she did 5 damage. She is dealing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that is going to be enough to knock her out, okay? That is going to be enough to knock her out. When somebody gets knocked out, you basically just reset them back to 15 health. All right, if they were awakened, they would become, they would turn over to this unrivaled side and do that. Okay, so we have a couple things. She has taken more than 3 health, so we can restore 2 health to a contender we control, which we're going to restore 2 health to the Iron Piston here, and she is back there. All right, we had a couple things that I forgot as well. So we did deal 5 or more damage to a contending champion, so that will give us 1 point there. We also defeated an opposing unrivaled contender. This would get us 6 points right here. And then on this side, we did deal 5 or more damage to a opposing contender, so we would get 5 gambit points. I do believe that is everything. Okay, so let me zoom this officially back out now. All right, so we have one more action that we can take with this team. Now, we did have we did have 4 more matching symbols. So we can move to anything that we want. She took 6 damage. They need 8. Restore 2 health to 2 or more contenders. Man. Ooh-wee. There's not a lot we can really do. If you have less gambit points than the player that controls this planet, we have the same, okay? I guess really the only thing we can do is probably engage in more combat. So, you know what we might do? Let's go ahead and engage Iron Piston here. All right. Iron Piston one last time. This will be the final thing I'll show you guys. And he's going to see if he can take out Genesis. All right. So let's go ahead and roll our 8 dice, and he will roll his 5 dice. Let's see if he can knock out Genesis and see what he's got. So we have 2, 3, 4, boom, boom. All right, let's see what we roll right here for him. Okay, 1, 2. We got a bunch of these little swords. Wow, that is a lot of little swords. I want to try and get 4 of these double energy blades. So what I might do is re-roll all of these. That's crappy right there. That's a hit. That's a hit. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's a break. All right. So he has got to kind of see what he can do. So he really just needs to hit him for 7. So that's 4, 5. You know what? He might re-roll both of these and see if he can get him for 7. And he's got a hit and a miss. Okay. So both of these are on cooldown, so he can't use any of these. We don't have any cards. This energy blades will not activate, so he's hitting for 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. All right, so 8 damage is coming out, so he will be down to 6 health. All right, we are damaging down to 6 health for Mr. Genesis, and he's hitting him for 6. He will block 3, so he is managing to still stay alive. He is managing to still stay alive, okay? And I do believe that is everything. Now, this particular player will not generate, okay? This particular player will not, neither of these players will generate any gambit points for dealing damage, because that can only happen once per particular turn, okay? That can only happen once per particular turn. We would now go into the next phase here, which would be our conquest phase, and he can overthrow if he has less than the player that he controls. He does have 6. This player over here does have 5. Okay, look, we are about 40 minutes into this video, guys. I'm going to go ahead and actually cut the video right here. I just want to give you guys kind of a showcase, a little teaser here of actually how to play this game. So now what would happen basically is you kind of saw the flow, right? Team Alpha Aster would get to go. They would go ahead and take some of their actions, and you guys are just going to take turns back and forth until one particular player here reaches 20 gambit points. Once that player reaches 20 gambit points, everybody will get one last final turn, and then there's going to be some end game scoring bonuses right here. And at the end of that, the player with the most gambit points is going to be the winner. Now, I'm pretty sure there are some little tidbits and things that I messed up. I know for me, I always forget to receive XP when being engaged in combat. I messed that up a little bit. And then also, whenever you conquer a planet, you will also generate XP or overthrow the planet. Whether you conquer or overthrow the planet, you will generate XP as well. Alrighty, guys. Well, look, I hope you enjoyed this little sneak preview of Alpha Clash Cosmic Conquest, the dice battler, dice chucker conquest game. Look, just give you guys my quick thoughts and first impressions of this game. I really enjoy it, man. It really seems like a slimmed down version of Dice Throne for me. Of course, you guys know I love Dice Throne, so it's really cool. I love picking your different teams. It reminds me a lot of like Marvel versus Capcom, you know, picking my team of 3 and stuff like that, and having the different abilities. I love the different play styles of all the different passives of the planets, the ways to generate gambit points, all the different cards and abilities, right, and stuff like that. It's a very unique, cool, interesting, like combat dice chucker game. But I'm definitely enjoying my time playing this and getting this bad boy to the table. And I can't wait to check out some of these other modes that come in this rulebook. But all right, guys, if you enjoyed this content, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell. Drop down in the comments below, what do you think about this game so far, guys? Is this something that you are interested in? If you definitely are interested in this, check the link down in our description below. That will take you to the campaign page on GameFound and give you all the more information on Alpha Clash Cosmic Conquest. Alright, guys, and last thing, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep making you guys some more awesome content. Alright, guys, have a great one. Bye.